What's up? What's up?
Welcome to Let's Talk About It, where we give it to you raw and uncut. The podcast show where we speak what's on our mind. Now here's your host, Amina G.
They are calling for the protests to be peaceful in Colorado, where a 14-year-old was killed and shot by a Colorado police officer. This incident took place on June 1st. Welcome to Let's Talk About It. I am Amina G. Now, when this story first came out, it was said that 14-year-old Dell Richardson was carrying a semi-automatic weapon. But as it was investigated further, Police Chief Art Azevedo corrected an earlier statement that was given. Azevedo said it was not a semi-automatic weapon, but it was a pellet gun that Dell Richardson had in his possession at the time of the shooting. He had a pellet gun, they're saying, at the time of the shooting that looked like a 9mm handgun. Now, I want to talk about the temperament of the two responding officers that arrived on the scene, and the officer's temperament on the way to the scene, and what the conversation was when they were in the car driving to the scene of the reported crime that was taking place. But first, I'm going to play a clip, but I want to warn the viewers that the clips that I play are going to be very disturbing. So if you have any children in the room at this time, would be the time to have them to step out of the room. 1 second.
5 or 6 kids all masked up, COVID masks. It looks like they might be scoped out the liquor store, the Mexican restaurant.
Now this is very important. This is the two officers on the way to the crime scene. They got a call that there was an armed robbery.
And I don't have an eye on him now. I had to maneuver.
Now we're gonna do this.
So you hear one of the officers say that we're going to do this, and the officer speeds up.
Where's the Mexican restaurant?
If you guys able to see that.
He said
They ask where the Mexican restaurant is.
Is it this little, like,
It's right here.
it'd be further, like this little thing?
Yes.
Again, this is very important, the temperament of the officers on the way to the scene. I will tell you why I wanted to know this as I go on.
Yeah, they just shoplifted out of there.
There's a black Kia van in the alley.
Now, as you hear, one of the officers asks, were they black? The other officer says yes, they're in the alleyway.
We'll go. Come on.
You can see the officer jumps out of the car before the car even stops moving, and his partner tells him to hold on. And the partner tells him to hold on, and you hear one of them say, let's chase them. So like I said, this is very important. I'm going to play another clip, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it.
They're chasing them. Get on the ground, road, please! Get on the ground! Get on the ground, I'm gonna tase you!
You can hear the officer telling him to get on the ground or he's going to tase him.
Gun! Look what the fucking gun! I'm gonna shoot your ass! Dude, I'm gonna shoot! Oh,
So as you heard, there was a gunshot. A chase pursued. And again, there was a gunshot. The officer jumped out of the car. Both officers jumped out of the car. You could see the 14-year-old Jordell could be seen running away from the suburban Denver store, Colorado store, where he was thought to have been involved in an armed robbery with another group of kids. While he was being chased, you also could hear the officer order him to get down on the ground. And the other officer told him that he was going to tase him. You can see Jordell Richardson being tackled by Officer James Snipes. He surrendered. He was down on the ground. You could hear Jordell saying, "You got me." Next, you could hear that the officer yells, "A gun, gun." And there was a lot of cursing going on, telling him to get the F off the gun. And then you hear a single gunshot gunshot. And Jordell Richardson has been now shot in the abdomen. I'm going to play the clip again and we'll come back, because I want you to get a good kind of view what is happening here.
They're chasing him. Get on the ground, road, please! Get on the ground! Get on the ground, I'm gonna tase you!
Again, they're chasing him through the alleyway, and the officer's telling him that he's going to tase him.
I'm gonna shoot your ass!
You hear the officers yell, "Gun, gun." One gunshot wound. One gunshot is heard. I'm sorry. One gunshot is heard. Now, the video clip we just watched, you never seen the kid with a gun. You don't see the kid raise a weapon to the officer, pull a weapon on the officer, try to throw away any weapons, none of that. You just don't see it. And I'm not saying that there wasn't a gun. I'm simply saying you see everything on the video up until this point, but you just don't see the kid with the gun. Now, Jordell could be heard asking the officer in the next clip that I'm going to play if he could take him to the hospital, but all you hear is the officer still cursing him, telling him to get the F off of the radio, and the officer is still cursing at him. Let's take a listen to that and we'll come back and talk about it.
Dude, I'm gonna shoot you!
You can hear Jordell yelling.
Gang 7 shots fired. Shots fired. You have the gun? You have it? Yeah.
You can hear him asking the officer to get off of him.
Get off the radio. Shots fired just east behind the restaurant.
So you can hear the officer telling him to get the F off the radio and asking for medical help fast.
Stay with me, bud. Hold on, okay? Let's cuff him.
Let me do it.
Huh?
I don't know where they
Okay. Hang with me, bud. What's your name? I think we're all right.
Again, this is Jordell Richardson,
Hey, hang with me.
who was shot and killed by AUROR, Colorado police officer.
He's got my arms. I'm done.
Okay. Do you have any other weapons?
No.
Okay. Breathe, okay? Look at me. What's your name? What's your name? Here. How old are you, bud? Do you know your birthday? Do you know your birthday? Gang 7. Suspect is unresponsive. How close fire? All right, let's start CPR. You got CPR?
Hey, wake up! Wake up! Stay awake for me, okay?
So they start CPR, but he is still responsive at that
You're
time.
talking to me, bro. Hey, you okay? Stay awake with me.
But he is going in and out of conscious, as you can see.
We are behind the business in the east side alley.
Stay awake.
One suspect down, he's unconscious.
We're looking for
Stay
a
awake
pulse.
with me.
Once again, we're looking at the killing of
Do we got a pulse? Do we got a pulse?
14-year-old
Stay with me, buddy.
Jordell
What's your name?
Richardson in Aurora, Colorado.
Yeah, it was just the pressure.
I got a
He's
pulse.
got
I
a
got a
gunshot
pulse.
wound right here. Okay.
Here, I'll start CPR.
All right. That's it.
You guys good?
Yeah, I shot one shot.
There's a gun behind me that probably needs.
Yeah, that's his.
That's his gun.
Okay.
Okay, so Jordell is laying on the ground with a gunshot wound to the abdomen. He is basically begging for help as he lay on the ground dying. He also could be heard asking the officer to get off of him, but the officer still told his partner to place handcuffs on him. So they still placed him in handcuffs. Now he is going in and out of conscious. Before he loses conscious, he was no longer responsive. So the officer did begin life-saving measures. We're going to watch the clip and come back.
Dude, I'm gonna. No, no, stop! Stop! Oh, fuck! 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 Oh, fuck!
You got the gun?
Gang 7 shots fired.
You have
Shots
the gun?
fired.
You have the
Yeah.
gun? You have it?
Yeah.
Grab me.
If they have the gun.
You think he's off of me?
Get off the fucking. Get off the radio. Shots fired just east behind the restaurant. Give me medical fast. Cops code 4. Suspect shot in the stomach. Stay with me, bud. Hold on, okay? Let's cuff him.
They made me do it.
Huh?
I don't know what
So
they
you
were
see
doing.
they're still
okay.
putting the
Hey, with me, bud.
handcuffs
What's your
on
name?
him. And I don't understand that because he's not going anywhere.
I think we're all right with cuffs.
Yeah,
Let's just.
Hey, hang with me.
take the mask
Hang
off.
with me.
Please,
He's asking them to take the mask off of him.
please, I can't get him. Please get off my arms, I'm done.
Okay, okay. Do you have any other weapons?
No.
Okay, okay. Breathe, okay? Look at me. What's your name? What's your name? Here. How old are you, bud? Do you know your birthday?
So
know your
one of the
birthday?
partners, cops are untying his hoodie.
Gang 7. Suspect is unresponsive. How close fire? All right, let's start CPR. You got CPR?
Hey, wake up! Wake up!
Okay, so now the officer that shot Jordell has been with the Aurora Police Department since 2017 and has been a part of the Aurora Police Gang Unit since 2019. Another reason why I brought up the temperament of the officers when they arrived on the scene and on the way to the scene, because on the way to the scene, as you heard, one of the officers asked, "Are they black?" And the other officer answered, "Yes, they are in the alleyway." Also, one of the officers involved in this case just settled a lawsuit last February for $100,000 for racial discrimination.
You're listening to Let's Talk About It with your host, Amina G.
And this is why I wanted to know the temperament of the officers when they arrived on the scene. Now, Azevedo said the focus of this investigation moving forward will be where the gun was pulled from and whether Richardson ever pointed the gun at the officer. The use of force is being investigated by the 18th District Critical Incident Response Team, CIRT. Both of the officers at this time has been placed on paid administrative leave per the department's policy. Now, the attorney who was representing the family said he wants to know why the chief of police waited so long to tell the public that it was not a gun, but it was a pellet gun. So he wants to know what took so long for that information to come out.
We'd like to know why the chief waited so long to tell the public that it was a pellet gun.
And the family attorney also wants to know why the officer that shot the teen, after the teen clearly surrendered to both officers, they want to know why he still shot him.
We want to know why Officer Gruzeska chose to fire the shot after Jordell had clearly surrendered to both officers.
Now, the family of Jordell wants to see additional video footage of the teen's shooting, but the family attorney said the Aurora Police Department is cherry picking what they want to release for the public to see. The chief of police said that there is more footage, but will not be released because of the ongoing investigation. Now, on Friday, hundreds of family members and strangers showed up for a private memorial at the Municipal Center in Aurora, Colorado, following a private procession. A white hearse carried the body of Jordell Richardson and brought the casket to the Aurora Police Department, where they marched and the family gave a speech. We're going to listen in at Lori Littlejohn, that is the mother of Jordell Richardson. Give me 1 second.
We can stand the storm, the clouds and the rain, but we can't stand any more bullets.
Okay, that was the Reverend who said that they can stand this. We can stand a storm, the clouds and the rain, but we cannot stand any more bullets, and that is true. Here is Lori Littlejohn, the mother of Jordell Richardson, speaking.
Broken. I don't know if I'm coming or going. They messed up my whole life. Something that can never be fixed.
This is the brother, Antone Richardson, the brother of Jordell Richardson.
But I gotta keep going, and that's what I'm gonna do. My son tried to save his own life that day. He cooperated with them. He told them, "You got me, you got me." What else was he supposed to do if he did everything they wanted him to do? My son did not deserve this. We're humans. We make mistakes. He should have been able to go and whatever consequences he had to face, been able to face them.
Calling.
Now, that's true. I agree with that. He should have been able to go and face any consequences that he would be charged with if he was not shot. Again, I'm not saying that there was not a gun that he was carrying, but I'm just simply saying that we didn't see him pull a gun from anywhere. So that is going to be a huge part of the investigation, where that gun was pulled from, and did he ever point that gun at one of the officers?
You're listening to Let's Talk About It with your host, Amina G.
Now, the family attorney said to the crowd that he hears them shouting justice for Jordell, but we will never get that justice. Justice is Jordell walking through his mother's front door. Justice is him growing old enough to beat his brother in a game of basketball. Justice is Jordell's father picking up his granddaughter or his grandson. The family attorney said, we will never get justice, but we can get accountability. And I agree with that. They have also called for the firing of both officers involved, as well as the police chief, to be terminated. Jordell Deshaun Richardson was laid to rest on Friday, June 16 in Denver, Colorado.
You're listening to Let's Talk About It with your host, Amina G.
Now, in other news, I wanted to give a quick update on a story I did back in May on Jordan Neely. Jordan Neely was a black subway rider who was killed by another white subway rider in New York City on the subway. By Daniel Penny is the guy that killed him. He has now been indicted by a grand jury for the murder of Jordan Neely, and hopefully we'll get some justice in this case. So yeah, I wanted to just give that quick update. Be sure that to check us out every Sunday at 3:00. And remember, family, it is never too late to bow down on your knees and pray to your Creator. Until next week, take care of yourself and each other, and please stay safe.
You have been listening to Let's Talk About It with your host, Amina G.
They shooting.
We want to thank everyone for tuning in. Check back every Sunday at 9 a.m. for new episodes. You can find us on Buzzsprout and Let's Talk About It, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Facebook at Amina G100. Until next time, be safe. You have been listening to Let's Talk About It with your host, Amina G.
Let's talk about it with Amina G.
Welcome to Let's Talk About It, where we give it to you raw.
The podcast that deals with issues America needs to hear.
I mean, the more we talk to them about it, the more we fight about it, the more we march, the more we fight against it.
And you can find it just about anywhere online. You have no excuse not to listen. Find Let's Talk About It with Amina G on Spotify, Buzzsprout, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, Facebook at Amina G100, Instagram at Amina_G, spell that G-E-E, and YouTube at Let's Talk About It with your host, Amina G. Email AminaGpodcast@gmail.com. There, if you can't find it now, that's on you. Let's Talk About It with Amina G. Listen to it anywhere.